backwards, he deserves about his friend.
Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
Friends here. Y'all,
because you have to understand that self-defense is a serious business. We do carry forces, defense forces. Make a difference.
one of the tactics that would increase or decrease
in the two-way community.
All right, y'all introduce yourself.
Let's just go ahead. Give him 100%.
Johnny You already know what it is. I saw that, and I've done my share. I'm about to put yours up here too. Wow, look at this. My comment is,
I won.
hey, you be back. Hey.
But no, so Marquise Moreno, PC.
What's going on? What's going on, you all? All right. This is Trigger with Instructor Mike. Let's get right to it. What's going on? I hope you all are having a good. You said Money Mike. What's good, champ? Shit, I don't know what's good these days. What's good? What's good? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What's going on? What's going on? Hope you all are having a good day. So this show, I'm gonna have you all come up if you choose to. We're gonna talk about the Illinois Safety Act. What's going on, Mike? What's going on, Megan? What's going on? So we're gonna talk about the Illinois Safety Act. You know, I had a chance, and if you guys are watching, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications, things like that. Your comments and everything is greatly, greatly appreciated. What's going on? Neil, what's going on? Mikey from Facebook, what's going on? Yeah, last week we didn't have a show. So this week, yep, we're going to go ahead and talk to it. So I had a chance to go to. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. You got me influenced, bro, for real. And I'm one of them ones you changed. I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you. You asked me what are my thoughts on Darren Bailey? Matthew for Illinois. What are my thoughts on Darren Bailey? You know, I was just in the middle of watching the gubernatorial debate. I'm going to stick to the topic of what I was going to talk about. And I think that's important for me to do. Because before we even get to talking about the gubernatorial race, I think we need to talk about something. What's going on, Roosevelt, that is going to affect us, and that's the Safety Act. And Nyla, you said thank you. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to stick to. And then I will answer that question, but that question is going to come a little bit later. It's going to come a little bit later. I'm not going to sit there and dismiss it and say it's not an important question. It is an important question. So I am going to go over the Safety Act again for those who did not necessarily watch the last lives. And it would be nice if you actually shared this and got people into it, because I had a chance to attend the Democrats' presentation of the Illinois Safety Act and them attempting to demystify or bust up the myths that have been putting out there that, you know, they say that people have been putting out there. And I wish I had my notes. I actually did. They're in the car. And, you know, I've had a busy day, so I'm not going to apologize for that. That's what work does. But I did happen to record it. And I don't know. I don't have a way to patch this through. Sorry, guys. My technological savviness as it relates to this isn't all that, you know, technologically savvy. So I'm going to try to play some parts of this and see if we could hear certain parts of it. And I will provide some commentary on that. Where are you at? Good. All right. So I'm going to play a snippet and you all tell me if you can hear it. I'm going to have to take my mic off my chest and actually put it to the device itself. And you all tell me if you all can hear this. Here we go.
Reduce police funding or whether to increase resources for police. These are important decisions to be sure, but our conversation about policing too often overshadows the long-standing concerns about the rest of the criminal justice system, including its sheer scale.
I know what'll make it better. Hold on.
The United States has the largest prison system in the world.
Y'all hold on 1 minute. You say you can't hear? I know what's going to make it better. I already know what's going to make it better. Hold on 1 minute. And now a word from our sponsors, knockingbootsationmom.com. I forgot I got my speaker right here. This is what's going to help us hear it. You said not an echo, just shaky audio. Oh, no. This is going to be so much better because I actually have a speaker and we'll be able to hear it even better. I know this speaker is loud as F-U-C-K, so I'm trying not to curse. You said don't have the audio too loud. I'm not. But you should be able to hear it now. So let's see how it sounds now. Because I do want us to hear what they actually said. There are some things that are in this Safety Act.
Again, that's patently unfair. That's patently disrespectful to the communities that I represent, and to the individuals that I represent. Third, we are not going alone. We are committed to progress. We are committed to progress, not just in one community, but in.
Can you guys hear that? Way better? Okay.
Every one of the 13 plus million people in the state of Illinois deserve the same treatment. They deserve the same access to justice. They deserve the same access to economic opportunity, a better, brighter future for themselves. So we are not going away. We are committed to this, to progress in our community. We're committed to this work. But I do have one other thing I've got to address, and Leader Collins mentioned this in her opening statement about some of the myths and falsehoods. There's this myth that the Safety Act passed at 4 a.m. because we tried to do it under the cover of darkness. It's false. It is completely false. The Safety Act was ready to go at 3 p.m. the day before we adjourned. The reason that it passed at 4 in the morning, Representative Slaughter and myself, we were continuing to engage in negotiations with people, with individuals on the other side of the issue. We continued to negotiate until in the early morning it became clear that what they were trying to do was run out the clock. They didn't want us to pass the bill in the first place. They figured if they run the clock out and say they were going to do it under the guise of negotiations, then it wouldn't be their fault. We would just run out of time. So that's the first thing. Second thing, that there was no public input into what went into the Safety Act and no public hearings. Again, patently false. There were 9 public hearings on each one of the topics included in the Safety Act leading up to its initial passage. 9 public hearings, over 30 hours of testimony, which does not include a committee hearing that took place right before the bill was called. So it does not include it. Those 9 public hearings are separate and apart from the hearing that took place. Where I sat in a committee hearing while my mother was in the hospital. I did it via Zoom, testifying on the bill as we were trying to pass the bill. So for someone to say that the bill never got access to a public hearing.
Okay, I can't take the bass out. This is the speaker that it's coming through. So there's no way I can take the bass out of it. It's a recording. I just recorded it through my iPhone like any other reporter would. So I don't have the way to, I don't have the way to. Okay, all right.
Just not true. Then the other thing is that the bill should either be repealed House. What we do in Springfield as a legislature, we continue to address, work on issues after we've passed them to clarify, to make sure they're stronger, to make sure they work for the people of the state of Illinois. That is what we do. So you have heard all of these falsehoods going on, you've heard all these nonsensical hypotheticals.
And just to give you who was in the meeting, this bill is too important to have the views that we have here. So if it's not asking too much, tag some people in this, share this, and everybody, if you don't mind, hit that like button, because I want to tell you that I sat through the whole meeting, and there are some good parts to this bill. There's also some bad parts to this bill. And there's one part that strike that. There is one legislator who did talk about it, but didn't talk about it and how it would really affect Illinoisans. The things about whether or not the police can arrest trespassers. And, the people, I guess somebody had said that police won't arrest trespassers or can't arrest trespassers. Yes, that is false. They can. But the question is, will they? And there's a part that's in the bill let's just keep listening. Let's just keep listening.
And I know that they're using a case study in the law school hypotheticals that have been thrown at people. But we also have something.
And this is Senator L.G. Sims, who was the sponsor of this bill. This is him speaking.
Red herrings. Red herrings are there to distract you from the real issue. The real issue is that over the last 5 years, not my numbers, $700 million have gone into the cash bail system. $700 million. Imagine what could happen in communities if that almost $750 million stayed right there. That's not what happens. The cash bail system is not about public safety, it's about wealth. And it's time for us to make sure we make about public safety and not about somebody's access to cash. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, so what they're saying, it was $700 million pumped into the cash bail system. And I'm just going to say, for the record, I am for the abolishment of the cash bail system. And the reason I am for it is because, having been a former police officer, I've also been a person who's been falsely arrested too. You see what I'm saying? And so the thing is, it's all fun and games when you're the police, right? But until you're on the other side of that situation, you may not necessarily understand, or you may have the family that has the financial means to be able to bond you out. And it's easy to say, don't do the crime if you don't want to do the time. Those cliche statements that people say. But I feel it is totally unfair for certain people, not everybody, but for certain people to have to sit up under the jail. And then, because of the conditions in Cook County Jail and in various lockups across the state and in any other state that fits this bill, it's unfair to have to, I don't want to say, how do I say this? Let me say this correctly. No, I'm going to keep it there. It's unfair to have to fight your case in the county because you can't afford bail. It's not unfair that you have your day in court. It's not unfair that you got arrested in certain cases. You can't control who arrests you. But to have to sit in county jail with real people who probably deserve to be there even longer, you see what I'm saying? And so, to have to sit there and then the conditions be to the point where it makes you take a plea for something you did not do so that you can get back home to your family. I am in agreement with the abolishment of cash bail for those purposes alone. But I think there is a lot of misunderstanding as it relates to murderers and other people being let out. That's not true at all. In fact, it'll make the state's attorney and the judges work hard. It's a bunch of different things that, that are being conflated as issues when they are not even the real issues. The real issues have a lot to do with who's going to do the catch and release, who's going to do the catching. You know, people are worried about catching and releasing. Yeah, it does depend on the crime, Nala. And I hope I'm saying your name right, Nyla. It does depend on the types of crime. So we're going to go over, I've read all 764 pages of the act. What's going on, sir? I've read all 764 pages of the act. And for those of you all who have not seen my briefing about this before, we're going to go over this again. And I'm still going to play part of the recording. And I will just tell you this. I'm not going to have you listen to the whole thing because it's about, 1 hour and 21 minutes and stuff like that. But I will tell you this, and we will listen to certain parts of it. The main part about the bill, 764 pages of the bill, the main part about the bill that they have not necessarily discussed in great detail is the fact that it is already in effect, that people can go and file anonymous complaints against the police without any affidavit whatsoever. Let me get to that page. Let me just go on ahead and go through my briefing now, and then we'll get back to this recording. So, and I'll post the link in the chat shortly for this. And if anybody wants to come up, I'll post the link so that we can do that too. The Safety Accountability Act. What? Oh, girl. Anyway. Yeah, I'm just responding to a text message. Yeah, the Safety and Accountability, Fairness and Equity Act, which is called the Safety Act. So I can't see your comments. Matter of fact, I will be able to see them if I go to YouTube and just turn it down. Here we go. Pretrial highlights. 1, it prevents the results of a risk assessment from being the sole basis for a detention decision and informs the accused person of the tool. Secondly, it changes pretrial release procedures, including release on own recognizance, warrant alternatives, and conditions of release, including electronic monitoring and home confinement, revocation, modifications, and sanctions, right? May revoke pretrial release under certain circumstances. I'm trying to get to and make good use of your time because I understand, let's just get to it. It does abolish cash bail, and that takes place on the 1st of January 2023. And according to what was said in the hearing by the Democrats, right, it was said that the judiciary, you said, nah, cancer in community needs to be dropped from blocks away. I don't even know what that even means. Provide some context. I don't want to discount your comment as though it does not matter. I just don't know what that even means, right? So provide some context so I can understand it, okay? You said, nah, we need that whole thing. When you do a separate video, if you get time, I want to hear it. I don't know about anybody else. All right, I'll play it. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. Let me get back to that screen. I'm sorry about that. Here we go. So according to Chapter 725, Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 5, Section 9-1, this is the situation where we're talking, or this is the statute where a person arrested without or with or without a warrant for an offense for which pretrial release may be denied shall be taken without unnecessary delay to a detached and neutral magistrate, in other words, a judge, right? And the charge is going to be filed. And this just talks about the manner in which the hearing will take place. Okay, so for the sake of time and for the sake of valuing your time, if you want to stop this and read this after the show, go back, watch it again, pause it, read it. Okay, just indulge me for the sake of time. All right. Offenses, mandatory, no pretrial release. So under the old statute, right, 110-4, bailable offenses, it's now going to be called pretrial release. All right. All persons with an offense shall be eligible for pretrial release before conviction. And it is only going to be denied when a petition is filed under Section 110-6.1 of the bail statute when they have a high likelihood of willful flight after the court has held a hearing under the aforementioned section, right? When a person seeking pretrial release who is charged with a capital offense or an offense for which a sentence of life imprisonment may be imposed shall not be eligible for pretrial release until a hearing is held wherein such person has the burden of proof of demonstrating that the proof of his guilt is not evident and the presumption is not great, you have a chance to listen to bond court. It's not hard to listen to bond court. All you have to do is go to Cook County, Lighton 100, and actually listen to bond court, right? Now, you said those of us with thugs in the family know that the only thing that works is serious jail time to remake or just make the man. I'm going to push back on this statement, okay? I'm going to push back on this statement because as an abused child advocate, as an anger management specialist, as a person who I would like to say specializes in trauma and in dealing with people who have trauma, it is often the case that the persons who judge that person who is the troublemaker is likely a contributing factor to why that person is a troublemaker, right? The first abusive police officer is not the police. It's a percentage of these parents, a percentage of that family. So if we're going to go there and say those of us with thugs in the family, let's just look at those family members who are thug breeders, who breed and train people how to be the very thing that society tends to despise. You know, and I'm not mad at your comment. Your comment is, in essence, a reflection of society. Society and people owe you no understanding for the trauma that you've been through. And so that's why if we're going to have any kind of real change, focus on family, educating family, and holding families accountable for when they actually put to pasture their family members who are actually contributors to the crime problem. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it may make sense, right? All right, let's go to it. Let's get back to it. But thank you for your comment, though. Yeah, you know, and the only way to break that revolving door is if we actually tend to focus on family. So, you know, you said jails are new plantations and human laboratories. They are not reforming anything. They took the schools and the job programs out of the jails years ago. I agree with you because I used to be a corrections officer. I understand that too. And there used to be programs, but now why bother, right? All right, let's continue. It's not going to be a long show, but we do just have to get through this stuff, okay? So under the old statute, which is what is in place now, it is a felony offense for which the sentence of imprisonment without probation, periodic imprisonment, or conditional discharge is required by law upon conviction when it is alleged that the defendant's admission to bail poses a real and present threat to the physical safety and of any person or persons. Under the new statute, it would be a forcible felony, and we'll get to what those forcible felonies are. A forcible felony offense for which the sentence of imprisonment without probation, right? And it is alleged that the defendant's pretrial release poses a specific real and present threat. So it's the specificity requirement, much like the specificity requirement in the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution, right? All right, here we go. The following charges are subject to the denial of pretrial hearing. Forcible felony under Section 2-8 of the Illinois Criminal Code. We're going to go through that. Stalking or aggravated stalking. Domestic battery or aggravated domestic battery. Weapon offenses under Section 24-1.2 of the Illinois Criminal Code. Involuntary servitude. Involuntary sexual servitude of a minor. Trafficking of persons. Non-probationable violations. The person has a high likelihood of willful flight to avoid prosecution and is charged with any felony under sections 1, strike that A1 through A5 of this section, or B, a felony offense other than a class 4 offense. The following are your forcible felonies. Such a very intelligent guy. You're a spot on with the childhood traumatic experiences. Change starts at home. Thank you very much. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Jan. All right, here we go. Let's continue, right? The following are forcible felonies. Treason, murder, predatory criminal sexual assault, aggravated criminal sexual assault, criminal sexual assault, robbery, burglary, residential burglary, aggravated arson, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated battery, or any other kind of felony involving the use of force. Also added to that, home invasion. Home invasion, okay? Home invasion. So when we are continuing talking about forcible felonies and how the Safety Act, there's some good parts and then there's some bad parts, right? We've heard about this thing relative to cash bail, cash bail. Let's get to it. So if you listen to Bond Court, and thank you for that comment, I appreciate that. Todd, you said this is all an excuse to allow the criminal element to perpetrate crime without prosecution. Commit a crime, pay the price. That's how to teach personal responsibility. Todd, I agree in part and I disagree in part. I'm not saying you're looking for any agreement from me, but I agree in part and I disagree in part. See, law and order. What up, Keith?
What they do?
All right. Law and order types, right? And don't get me wrong, former cop, I've arrested a lot of folks, right? I myself have also been arrested too, right? And I would say, suffice it to say, it is a good thing of our society that most of our law enforcement officers have never been on the other side of the jail as defendants themselves. But it's also a thing that a majority of our law enforcement officers have never been on the other side of the jail working corrections either, because that will give you a bit of perspective too.
It should be the first thing you do before you hit the streets, in my opinion.
I swear. Okay. Now, you said this is all an excuse to allow the criminal element to perpetrate crime without prosecution. But a lot of you all, the law and order types who make these kinds of statements complain about government intrusion, government intervention, things of that nature. You'll wear shirts that say, come and take it, come take my guns away. And the minute they take your guns away or attempt to, right, you fight, you get arrested. You see what I'm saying? So you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you make those statements, because the very types of intrusions you are willing to allow when it's someone else's turn, be willing to allow those same when it's your turn. Now, you said I've been to jail and I've learned my lesson. That's you.
Yeah, that's 100% you. Because trust me,
right?
Are you an Illinois resident? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, boy, the criminal element here is revolving door. They don't mind going to jail because they already got their place picked out. They got their family there and the whole nine.
And then the thing is that you apparently weren't here when I was talking about that the first police officers who are abusive are not police officers. There are these abusive, trauma-filled parents.
Mm-hmm.
The family that is very much a contributor to the decision-making process, right? We often talk about, in criminology, we talk about rational choice theory, right? We talk about that. But then when we talk about rational choice theory, for those of you all who don't know criminology, right, you've got option A, option B, the sub options, the choosing of this because it was a well thought out process. But then we're not talking about the motivations, right? The biological, emotional, social, and cognitive forces that activate the decision-making process, right? We're not talking about that. And I've said that before in plenty of shows in the media, right? Every time I just had a News Nation show I was just on where they were talking about the young man in Raleigh, North Carolina, who had the AR-15 and shot 5 people. One of them was an off-duty cop, and they want to keep focusing on the gun. They want to keep focusing on mental health. But what they don't want to focus on is the voter who could be that traumatized parent who's traumatizing that kid, whose kid goes off and commits the active shooting, but that traumatized parent is still a voter. And that's why we don't want to talk about these things, because that's the focus is never going to be on the people you need to rely on to actually keep you in office. And as long as we make this a situation where we rely on the politicians to fix these problems, the problems are never going to be fixed.
Exactly. You're still waiting for Superman and Batman to come save the day when it's literally in your hands.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
Because I know if you what is it? What was that one saying? Words to never. What is it? How do they say it? Words you never want to hear. We're the government and we're here to help.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, dude, there's no hell no, and in Spanish, hell no. Hell, we just listened to a news report today that talked about how they're releasing 15 more gallons or 15 million more gallons of oil or whatever for gas and this, that, and the other right before the primaries. Bro. So you're dipping into our reserves more to bribe people to vote for you to pretend that you did something great when literally it's your fault. How do you praise your abuser? Literally, you keep voting for your abuser. This is the most toxic relationship you can ever have in the United States, is trusting your government to do what the hell they're supposed to do while they whooping your ass. How, Sway? I'm just saying. How in the world do you praise your abusers? That's why people keep playing with this. Who has the better, who's on the best plantation? Who has the best master? You still playing that game to this day. You're still voting Democrat and Republican. Dude, vote what's right. Vote what's necessary. And unfortunately, if you keep voting for your oppressor, you're going to keep being oppressed.
And I'm just telling you, this hearing that I went to, first of all, it took place at St. Sabina.
You know I'm on camera, right?
I do. Oh, you talking about something else? Okay. Yeah. So it took place at St. Sabina. And when it took place at St. Sabina, Father Flager wasn't there.
He wasn't?
No, he wasn't there.
Not the Flag.
Well, it's not that he wasn't there because he didn't want to be there. He wasn't there because there were circumstances beyond his control that, he wasn't there. So neither here nor there, it was still a rather informative meeting where you had the state senator, Elgie Sims, who was a sponsor of the bill. You had State Senator Jacqueline Collins. I believe she's the 17th district, and she's the House the state majority leader. I don't know, whatever. She's majority leader. And then you had another young lady from Seoul, Chicago. She had a lot to say. She was informative. And then you had the Cook County Public Defender.
Who that is nowadays?
I don't know. But I'm gonna put some respect on his name because I don't remember his name, number one. And it's not that his name wasn't memorable. It's just that he doesn't get enough media attention to the point where I remember his name. I know who wasn't there, though. Kim Fox. Kim Fox was not there. Nor was anyone from the state's attorney's office. So
wait a minute, is she even running? Is she running unopposed again?
Nah, I don't know whether she's running or not. No, she already won her race. She's not up for re-election. So, I don't know if she has something more important to do. She could have been someplace else more important. I don't know. I'm not going to cast that on her and say, this was important, because she could have been at I don't know, whatever. But she wasn't there. Nor was anybody from the state's attorney's office.
Marriage counseling?
Hey, that's a good idea. There was somebody from the University of Chicago Crime Lab, and there was another person there who was a victim advocate and an attorney for domestic violence. So after listening to them and trying to bust those myths, they really didn't make an impact. Half the people in there were falling asleep. Half the people were elderly senior citizens. They were falling asleep. It was rather monotone. But in that, hey, Christy, what's going on? Yeah, it was rather monotone. But I will tell you this. Let's get to it, because I want to tell you the most important part that they have not discussed and what you need to worry about. Here we go. When the state's attorney approaches now, as they always have been approaching, they have to file a petition under 725 ILCS 5, section 110-6.1, which is the bail statute. The proof evident, the presumption great that the defendant committed the offense as charged in the proffer by way of bond proffer. And I always invite you to go, if you're a Cook County resident, go to Cook County, Layton, room 100 at 12 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time in Chicago. And that is when you will see CBC, room 100, Central Bond Court, where you begin to hear what's in practice now. You don't know what you don't know, right? Mm-hmm. So that the defendant poses a real and present threat to the safety the safety of a specific identifiable person or persons by conduct which may include, but not limited to, a forcible felony, the obstruction of justice, intimidation, injury, or abuse as defined in the Illinois Domestic Violence Act, and no condition or combination of conditions as set forth in subsection B of section 110-10 of this article can mitigate the real and present threat to the safety of any person or persons or the defendant's willful flight, right? Here's another part of it, and we talked about it last time. We got to highlight it on this time, right? So they did talk about, and I don't want to say they, actually Senator Sims talked about some of the misconduct highlights. It allows for the investigation of anonymous complaints against officers, right? It bans the destruction of police misconduct records. It allows for complaint filings against police officers without sworn affidavits or other legal documentation. It removes the requirements that officers under investigation must be informed of complainants' names or of the officer in charge of the investigation. So I'm going to tell you this. They call themselves busting a myth by saying police officers cannot arrest trespassers. Is that a myth? Yes, that's a myth. That is false. Police officers still can arrest trespassers. But as I was saying, who the fuck's going to do it? I'm not going to do it, not under this. And the reason why I'm saying I'm not going to do it is if you read the statute, Chapter 50, Illinois Compiled Statutes, Act 725, Section 3. That is called the Uniform Peace Officers Disciplinary Act, right? I thought this wasn't in effect until the 1st. It's already in effect right now. It got in effect July 1st, 2021.
I thought it was presented in. I thought it was signed in 2021.
It was signed in February of 2021. This part of the act is in effect now. So just imagine if you're a police officer and you respond to the worst of the worst people's problems, and they expect you to make sense of it all, arrest the person, do this and do that. You see what I'm saying? And so now, here's how the game is going to be played. And I don't mind discussing it because it ain't no secret. If anybody who's involved in the life of crime, they already know this is how this goes. So I'm going to provide you a hypothetical. Mary sees a strange man. I won't give him a race. We'll just say it's a strange man. In her backyard while she's planting her petunias, and she tells that man, "Get off my property." That man says, "Hell no, I'm not going nowhere. What you gonna do?" She calls the police. Police arrives in a step act kind of world, right? Police arrive. In the statute, it says this thing right here does not affect officers under current collective bargaining agreements, aka union contracts. When places like Chicago and the Illinois State Police and other police agencies that are actually unionized under collective bargaining agreements, when they go up for renegotiation of the contract, that's when this will start to take place. That's when this will take effect. Right now, this doesn't take effect in Chicago because Chicago has a union contract where complainants still have to have affidavits and still have to be made known to the police. When their contract comes under negotiation, that can no longer be unless this is repealed. But in departments like where I used to work, we were not unionized. So since we were not unionized, this took effect the minute it was to take effect, which was, strike that, July 1st, 2021. So imagine in this hypothetical, Mary is in, let's pick your South Suburban village of, let's see, which South Suburban village I know is small and doesn't have a union contract.
Crestwood.
Crestwood. And last I think, they don't have a union contract.
And neither does Oak Forest, if I'm not mistaken.
Oak Forest better have a union contract, but if they don't, that's dumb, but fuck it, right? We'll make it Crestwood and Oak Forest, right? So let's just say Police officer arrives on scene. Okay. This man wasn't crazy enough to do something and actually stuck around and waited for the police, right? But Miss Mary complains to the police officer stating, this man won't leave my backyard. I told him to leave and he wouldn't leave. And let's juicing isn't even a word, but let's sweeten the hypothetical, right? I made juicing isn't a word. Let's sweeten the hypothetical. There's a ring camera out back. So the ring camera caught it all, right? So you got according to criminal trespass of land, 720 ILCS 5, 21-3, okay? That's the statute, I believe. Here we go. You got to have I'm trying to read the comments. Here we go. You got to have the warning that you are not allowed to be on the property. Mary gave the warning. And then after the warning, man stood on the property. So does the officer have the right to make the arrest? Yes, he does. But here's what the officer has to fear. The man makes the arrest. The officer makes the arrest, right? And then when the officer makes the arrest, the man makes bail. He's got no priors, right? In fact, criminal trespass of land is a misdemeanor. So literally, the officer can't put him to bail, so to speak. The officer can just give him a ticket or some other kind of recognizance bond with a court date, and that's that. Then this man,
slap on the ass.
Right. This man goes and complains to his friends. Guess what his friends can do? File all kind of anonymous, fruitless complaints because there isn't the requirement of an affidavit swearing to the truthfulness of the matter asserted. So you could literally make up anything having to do or not having to do with the arrest. Remember how many people flew into town to actually, destroy Chicago because of the all cops are bastards and stuff like that?
Drove in, bust in, yes.
So just imagine anyone making those kind of complaints. So
from out of
now,
town anywhere. Yep.
You know what?
From out of town anywhere. Yeah.
From out of town anywhere. No affidavit. The officer doesn't have to know who the complainant is, and it's anonymous.
And it has to be warranted.
Yes. So here's what will happen. I used to be internal affairs. Okay. So here's what we would do. We would call that officer in, right? Of course, after discussing things with the chief, advising things of the chief. Chief typically knows what's going on, but typically defers to internal affairs because that's what we specialize in. We actually go to school to learn how to conduct internal investigations, right? And so, depending upon the severity of the offense, if it is an allegation that could be presented to the state's attorney for prosecution, there are certain things that we cannot ask officers, because if we ask them and compel them under the threat of losing their job to state the truth or even give us a statement, they would be more likely to give us the truth. But guess what? Could you use that statement in court? No, because it violates the fifth. It is a compulsory statement, and no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself in a criminal trial. So if you want to use that statement, right, you would have to give them a Garrity warning. Garrity versus New Jersey. It's a United States Supreme Court case, and it lets them know, in essence, this, what you're about to tell me, we really have no intention on using it in a criminal trial. It's just primarily for your job security. You either tell us or you lose your job. No criminal prosecution. So it depends on the severity of the offense. Right now, Emma asked the question, how would you know what the severity, how would you know that the severity was accurate? Here's this. Whether it's an internal issue or whether it's an internal issue that's going to be forwarded to the state's attorney for prosecution, guess what happens? The officer is taken off duty and put on administrative leave, depending upon the severity. Do you understand that? Let's just change this hypothetical. Let's just say it's a case where a police officer is driving by and just happens to see a criminal offense taking place in his view. This is a situation where it's a woman getting beat up by a man, right? This is what we in law enforcement would call an on-view complaint. In other words, she didn't call the police on him. We drove by and on-viewed it. So who's going to have to testify? Uh-oh, Tinder hot best adult dating site. I blocked them. Right, here we go.
Is going. Okay.
Boy, I'm telling you, boy, you cannot get past the line without porn being introduced. All right, here we go. So let's just say, in order to be able to make this case, the officer has to go to court and testify as to what, if anything, the officer observed and what caused the officer to intervene on behalf of that woman and arrest that man for, at a minimum, aggravated domestic battery, which is a felony, right? So now, all this person has to do is tell his friends, they make anonymous complaints, all kinds of stuff, juicy. It's not about whether it's true or not, because you've eliminated the discovery of the truth.
Or if she's the one who actually makes a complaint too, because God forbid, if they go to court and she don't press charges, they still boo it up.
Absolutely. And those things do happen in domestics.
Oh, I know. Trust me.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, right? And when you got allows for investigation of anonymous complaints against officers, bans the destruction of police misconduct records, we'll touch on that shortly, right? Then you got allows for complaint filings against police officers without sworn affidavits or other legal documentation. So you're stating that, and this is what they stated in the hearing too last night. They said that the reason they removed this from the statute is that people would want to go into the police station and make complaints, but they would be afraid that they didn't have the evidence or they didn't have what they needed to be able to substantiate a complaint. So if we remove the sworn affidavit, we bring more people forward to complain against officers. Cool. If that's what your constituents wanted and you gave it to them, I have no problem with that. We got to understand, we got to be fair. Representative government means just that. Just because the Republicans downstate represent Republican interests, that's fine. That's what your constituents want. But Black folks or heavy liberals want this process. They just don't understand what this process is going to mean. This process is going to mean that exactly what you are asking for is going to backfire, because no smart police officer who understands the process like I do. I was in patrol. I was in investigation. I was in internal affairs. I understand the process immensely. I've been complained against. I've won my complaints. I've used Chapter 50 Illinois Compiled Statutes Act 725, Section 3 against my chief who tried to come at me. I was wearing body cameras before the shit was even fashionable. So I know how this process goes very well. And I'm telling you this, no officer with a brain is going to take the risk of arresting this person when they stand the chance of losing their pension, their career, their freedom, all the stuff that police officers, and of course, we are not praising bad cops. Fuck those guys. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the good officers who actually really want to do the job, who's willing to take the risk of the complaint to save your ass. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And the thing is, you have people testify in court saying, "Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?" I do. But then you don't require people who are literally going to enforce the laws that you put into place to not swear to the same.
Complaint without what do you call it? Complaint without, oh my God, I want not promise. Come on, man, help me.
I'm with you. Complain without verification, maybe?
I will say not even verification, because hell, swearing, I mean, going to verify the complaint is one thing, but you're asking a person, or you're letting a person know they can complain without having to sign an affidavit, swear before a court, or do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're talking without recourse, without repercussion.
Absolutely.
Hell, actually, you know what? That's
without merit.
Without merit. Thank you.
Okay.
That's the word. Without merit. Yeah. And if you think about it, literally, what you just did was make the police force social media, where people can give their opinions and have no backing, no realistic facts, and can just say whatever they want. And it's like, okay, cool. There's no repercussion. And then what's the repercussion when the person's lying?
Yeah. And Emma asked a very valuable question right here. So a police officer could be accused of grape, because you can't say that other word. YouTube don't like that. A police officer could be accused of grape by an anonymous source, and that would be taken at face value. Yes. That is, yes.
Matter of fact, wait a minute. Removes the requirements that officers on investigation must be informed of complaints name. So now you can't even confront your accuser.
You won't even know who it is. You won't even know who it is.
So isn't that like literally, okay, so I guess that only counts in a court of law, that you're allowed to confront your accuser?
But see, the problem is, this is where, and this is how messed up this hearing was. They took questions on index cards. I asked this very question on an index card. Guess where my index card was? Chucked. Never answered. And so I've attended a couple of sessions at St. Sabina. They allowed people to cut, and this was when the Illinois State Police, and it was I forgot his name, black guy, captain. He became a major, lieutenant colonel. He's the chief in chief, one of those college towns in central Illinois. Great, David Byrd. David Byrd, great guy. Oh, it's the Illinois State Police, David Byrd. When he was there, it was another captain, Hispanic lady. She was there. It was a police involved thing in this, and it was packed in St. Sabina. They actually had a mic, and you could go up there and ask questions. I remember I was there, right? But this one was absolutely horrible. You couldn't ask any questions. It was just to sit your ass down, listen to tender hot dates back on scene. Titties. Okay, let me stop. All right. I had to block them. Sorry. All right, here we go. If y'all see that in the don't laugh at me. I'm glad I don't have any sponsors, but I should. Here we go. It's just crazy. So it was just sit your ass down, listen to us. We gonna tell you what it is. And it's like,
listen.
You just listen. Right. And it's like, I'm sitting here, I got video. So I'm gonna post the video on my YouTube page because I got video. I took video of me just sitting here listening to them, and I'm reacting to the camera like they're not even telling them everything. Like this is the part. So a police officer could be accused of grape by an anonymous source, and that would be taken at face value. And do you know the best way to get, should I? Yes, I'm gonna do it. I shouldn't do it.
Hell no, because don't get no one an idea because they watch this video. You add ideas to people's ability to screw people up.
I'm
gonna tell you like this: as I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm like, dude, do you know how many news reports where they're showing the body cam or the incident as it happened? So you're telling me that does the person have to physically be in a state to have a complaint?
Be in the state? No. No. But here's this, and I'm gonna tell you.
Because now, what if I saw it on the news and I was offended by some shit?
Anonymous
You
means
see what I mean?
exactly what
Anonymous
it means.
means anonymous.
Yes.
So that means I could be in Florida and upset on Captain So-and-so's comments during a press conference based on this, that, and the other. And I can be like, hey, you know what? I don't like the way this person did this.
Anonymous means anonymous.
Hell no, dude.
And
you know how many sensitive, you know how many Karens we have in this world?
Bro.
Karens and Kevins.
And let me tell you this. If I were still, this is what I will tell you. If I were the police and I was the police in those suburbs that had no union protection,
hell no.
The only people I would be willing to take a risk for are old people and children. That's it. If the call involved a child, I'll take that. I'll get arrested. I don't give a fuck. I'm going in. Not with heavy emotions, but I'm as an abused child advocate, I will not let that. I will go in for a child.
Mm-hmm.
Older people, boy, I'm going in for their ass.
What about pets? Pets are good.
And a pet. I'll go in for
I'll go for a pet. Yeah, I'm about to say a puppy. Yeah, I can do it. I don't know about cats though. I don't know about cats.
Yes, I would take a complaint for a Shih Tzu.
I'm biased about cats though. So maybe even a bunny, a hamster, or a gerbil, but not a cat. I'm like, yeah.
Tails likes it.
That's right. That's right.
But
can't do cats though.
I hate to say it.
Unless
women
soy sauce. I mean,
you are something else. Women, you might be on your own.
Shit.
And the thing is, I hate to say it, but ladies,
you can't take the chance.
It's like I am a man and you are a lady. It's all. And hold on, don't. If you're a black lady or a white lady or an Asian lady or even a Hispanic, just lady, period, you already have heavy political capital.
What if it's a transgender lady?
3 times political capital. And probably a bigger than me. And that's okay to say because I can say it all the way.
Right.
And it's not hate because if it's true, right? I'm just saying.
Not in this day and age. No one cares about truth.
Hey, right? I'm just saying. It's heavy political capital. Those of y'all who remember my red flag law abuse prevention class, right? And then the triers of fact have one question that they have to overcome. When the anonymous complainant comes in and complains, and let's just say they're partially anonymous, but they're willing to reveal that they are a female against this male officer.
Women are to be believed, according to the current president.
There is one question that every defendant would have to overcome, and that is the question: why would they lie?
Because it's been through history, multiple
people. We know that, but
right, and then you got to look at it too. A lie, and again, I understand what we're talking about, but I'm gonna tell y'all like this, man. Being accused of rape, you have to realize that man being accused of rape, whether it's true or not, still, even found innocent in court, the news blast that person was accused of rape. The media knows that you've been accused of rape. Your job knows you've been accused of rape. Your family knows you've been accused of rape. Everyone who has a screen knows you've been accused of rape. And you can't recover from that. No matter, even if that woman is found guilty of lying, which again does not happen. I've never seen any person, I've never seen one accuser of it who was found guilty of, not even found guilty, who was found to be lying, because we can't say found guilty, you have to be tried for it, who have been caught in their lie.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about this. In one of the cases I was arrested in, I took it all the way to trial as my own defense counsel, which I recommend that you don't do if you don't know what you're doing.
No.
But in this case, this woman, and I will tell you this, what saved me was recording the entire event. That's what saved me. Boy, I'm a recording fool. This person said that I took, this is going to be some funny shit, Marquise. This person said that I took, because what was alleged was that I sprayed this person in the face with some pepper spray. Never happened. Never happened. This person said that I took the pepper spray. She testified when state had her on the stand that I took the pepper spray and held it to her temple like this.
Like it was
I shit you not.
You gonna spray her brains
yes!
out? I'm gonna spray your brains out because that's the exact proximity I want to put pepper spray on someone's. Put up to your piece like, yo, listen.
Yes,
you don't want none of this spray. You don't even want it. I'm sorry, hold on, thumb. You don't even want the spray.
Yes,
you don't even want it.
And then on cross, see the thing about representing yourself is that you have to be smart enough if you're going to do it. One, it's not a heavy case, but it's still an important case. Number one. Number two, you have to separate from yourself to represent yourself, not as yourself on behalf of yourself.
Yep, because you can't be biased about yourself. You
see what I'm saying? Because if your emotions are so connected to your position, you know what happened, but you have to defend it as though it's not you defending, it's you defending for you. That's not you. It's weird, right?
And hell, some of y'all can't control your facial emotions.
Right. So I had I still got them. I got them in the room. I had all my notes, whatever. And I'm just, remember, still defensive tactics instructor, OC instructor, stuff like that. You said he. No, it was a she. It was a she. You're silly. Oh my God. And so, having said all that, the last thing that I did before closing, Tender Hot's back. The last thing that I did on closing was play the video. And after the judge saw the video, after the state's attorney saw the video and saw that, one, her face wasn't even facing me. I didn't spray her. I sprayed the air after having told her at least 45, 50 times on the record to leave after she lunged at me and tried to hit me. None of that stuff was in the report. Chicago police didn't want to hear anything I had to say about that. They just arrested my ass. And the only thing that saved me was me recording this. And after that, the judge was like, there's no way we can find him guilty. In this video, he had made so many, he complied with 21-3, said so many times you got to leave. She lunged after him. That's domestic assault. Mr. Brown, you got any closing argument? I sat there in my closing and said, Your Honor, the alleged victim stated in this matter that she was going to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And she swore before God and country in this honorable branch of the Circuit Court of blank county. But when put on the stand, after that oath, under that oath, in front of you, Your Honor,
she lied.
She told a lie, a whole lie, and everything but the truth. If I'm lying, I'm dying, I'm flying. That was in my closing. And do you know, after I was found not guilty after winning my own trial, you would think she would have been locked up for perjury. She perjured herself under oath. Nothing.
No.
Nothing happened at all.
No. And it would never happen. Think about it. Most documents you fill out for the state of Illinois, if it has anything to do with a signature and involves a firearm or attesting to something, there's literally a part that says you can be found guilty of perjury under this section, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it says right there. Well, actually, it's punishable. Punishable is the word I'm looking for. It says punishable under section blah, 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 blah. Yet, you had a person who lied on a 4473. You had a person who lied on a FOIA card application. You had a person lie and got caught in the lie when they applied for a concealed carry license. Yet the person was still able to go shoot up his own office building. Where the word punishable was actually stated to him 3 different times. On his FOIA application, on his 4473, and on his application for applying for a concealed carry.
Yep.
You got caught. That's 3 strikes. Because he was a felon. And he didn't reveal that information. Ooh. They found out and still never punished him. What ended up happening? He went to work and shot up his office building. So again, when we talk about this whole Safety Act and everything else, I'm going to say it again. It ain't about what's about to happen. The laws were already shitty before the Safety Act. So if the laws are already shitty, the Safety Act doesn't make anything better. It just made some of y'all go look at the laws and be like, wait a minute. So these laws were already shitty. The Safety Act is going to make them shittier. And what we supposed to do now?
Bro, I'm just saying.
Bro, it makes no sense. And that's why I'm like, I really just have this thought process where I can't complain about shit I can't change. Whether we like it or not, the Safety Act is coming. But whether we like it or not, the laws were already shitty before the Safety Act. Is just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. What are you doing to make a difference? Are you going out there to get trained? Are you getting out there to understand the laws and what not to do? What are you doing?
And that's why we're telling you, you're going to have to be your own savior.
Man, you're going to be your own Superman and Batman.
You know, and the thing is that in Chicago and in these towns where you got those police officers that have collective bargaining agreements, in other words, police contracts, see, people got to be careful when they say the things that they said, right? Because they sat there and said, well, we need the police unions to be gone. If it wasn't for those collective bargaining agreements, this would have already been in effect in Chicago for the Illinois State Police, for Cook County Sheriffs, because all 3 of them got collective bargaining agreements. I know the department I used to be in, they had a collective bargaining agreement. A couple of other departments I was in had no collective bargaining agreement. I'm just saying, collective bargaining agreement is pretty much just the union contract between the government and the rank and file of the law enforcement agencies. And like in Chicago, you got one contract, sergeants got a contract, lieutenants got a contract. They all got their own individual unions. Commanders and above are exempt. They have no contract. They're just at the will and pleasure.
The damn near salary.
You know, and so you said, can you sue for defamation if they lied about the accusation? Yeah, I could, but what would I get? Except the satisfaction of having won that suit. I already won the case. So my thing was, go back up, pick the pieces from my life and continue. But my thing is this. If people don't feel that they could be punished for perjury, that's going to motivate them to lie. And do you know what also was in the Uniformed Peace Officers Disciplinary Act? That if it is found that a person willfully lied against this officer, that person would be submitted to the state's attorney for prosecution. Do you know what the Safety Act did? Eliminated that. It's no longer in the law anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was, and the thing is, I am, man, look, when I lost my job, yeah, I lost it. When I lost my job as a police officer after being falsely arrested and I was allowed to resign in lieu of termination, I was distraught. I was hurt. But God knows that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I gotta say that was the best thing that ever happened to me. One, I started my business, been doing all this stuff, met people like Marquise, all you all following me. I would have never been able to do any of that stuff if I was still the police, because the police don't have a voice like this. Saying half the shit that I would have got, I would have been fired by now by somebody department.
Mm-hmm.
So
or you would have been just paid with taxpayers' dollars as some other officer did for his security company.
That, well, by God, right? But that was the best thing that ever happened to me. And it's like, I'm going to blame God for that. And I'm going to blame God positively, because God knew I wasn't going to sit down. I wasn't going to stop being the police. I was going to keep on going all the way to retirement. That was my plan. But you don't know. It's like, if you can endure the pain, you will find your purpose in the process. And the thing is that you don't know when your time is going to be up from you doing one thing to do something different to actually change lives and impact people. But I am honestly glad that I still remember how to be the police. I still know how to do the job, but I have zero interest in wanting to get back, because after this, I would be perhaps one of the most disobedient officers ever. And I'm not talking about violating people's rights. Hell no. I'm talking about not going to, I go to the call, but I watch.
Boy, I swear to God, I'd be the officer who's shoveling people's snow every now and then. I'm helping Ms. Jenkins pot plant.
Whoa.
I might mow a lawn or three.
I swear to God.
My thing is this. You notice how everything is a misconduct highlight.
Yeah.
Nothing discussed positive.
Nope.
What about if the person is being praised for doing a great job?
Yes.
Dude, where's that at in the Safety Act? If a cop gets so many compliments, boy, yeah. You know, my thing is, I'm sorry. If a cop, not, man, please, I'm trying to get cats out of trees. I don't even like them. I'm gonna make sure y'all don't understand that concept. So shoveling snow, plotting plants, mowing lawns, getting cats out of trees.
I'd be at the Home Depot taking all kind of fix-it classes and sponsoring. I'd just be doing all kinds of positive shit.
I'd be part of DARE.
Dude,
I'll bring DARE back, bro.
Dude,
does DARE still exist?
Yeah, they brought it back, actually.
They brought it back. See, I'll be the DARE cop. That way I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm trying to keep the kids off drugs.
I'm serious. That's why I'm glad I'm not the police. They would be writing me up for beautifying blocks. I'd be planting apple trees,
bruh, pear trees. Man, I'm working on the community garden. Dude, I'm helping people find parking spots.
I swear to God, bro.
I'm reminding people, hey, look. This is about, your time is about to go off, man. Come here. Hurry up. You see him right there? Come on, you gotta get this done.
I'm gonna tell you one thing I would do. If I was in Chicago, I would have a hookup to get the key to one of the major intersections and turn the flashlights on red, and I would just be down doing traffic. Yeah, he said returning shopping carts.
Dude, man, you know how many quarters go, boy?
I'd be out there delivering people food, like police Uber.
Dude, I'm about to, you know what? You beat me to, I wasn't gonna say delivering food.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to the airport really fast.
Right.
Because I'm putting on all sirens, all lights. Dude, if you don't mind sitting in the backseat of this car, throw your luggage in here, I got you. You better give me a 4-star rating to my department about what I'm doing.
Chicago police Uber style.
Bro.
Oh my God. I'm
Bruh.
so serious. I'd be very creative. Oh,
Watering grass. Oh my God, watering grass for people, helping them pick weeds.
yes. The senior
Man,
citizens.
going to the grocery store and helping little people out who can't reach the top shelf.
Yeah.
Ooh. You should have grabbed the Cheerios.
Yeah.
I got these Cheerios for you. Here you go, ma'am. Here you go, sir.
I go to Jackson Park Hospital and do story reads to the kids who are waiting for their parents to come out of the room on a medical.
With a clown nose. With a clown nose.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, hold on. Better yet, with the glasses and the nose and the mustache.
Yeah.
Dude, man, telling story, man, be telling stories, reading books to kids. Dude, I'm going. I go to every school on my route and just pull on the doors to make sure they locked, and then wave at people who see me in the window. Like,
yeah,
dude, I'm checking to make sure car doors are locked.
I swear, boy, please. That's why I said I'm glad I'm not the police. Man.
Go to Chrissy's comment.
What'd you say? Marquise, you said, Marquise, you one of the black people that don't like cats so bad it disrupts your life. I worked with a black lady one time. She wouldn't get out of her car until she saw a cat. If she saw a cat, they were gone. Wow.
So that's only pretty hilarious because actually I love all animals. I'm just really messing around because I always make jokes about cats tasting good with soy sauce and what do you call that? Sweet sour. Yeah, I always make a joke, but no, I love all animals, and all animals actually like me a lot.
Please, I'd be at the zoo. I'd be downtown Chicago doing what's those little escorts? We sit there and it's all of a sudden you see the officer and everybody in a row of two-wheel bikes. I swear to God.
Dude, I'm pushing people on swings. No, those I'm saying specifically, I'm pushing people on swings. Yeah. Get your grown ass in that swing.
That's it.
Whee!
That's it.
What happened? Man, Officer Miranda was out there. He was just pushing me on the swing. He was out there having a good time. He let me shoot his gun. We had a ball.
And it's
I'd be like the cops from Superbad.
Yeah. It's like if I'm gonna sit here and make six figures, 6, 7, whatever, 6 figures, just being the police or close to it, man, I'm not about the stress. I'm not, look, I'll tell you what, I'm not writing another ticket. Don't tell me about doing another, man. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's just dead.
Mike, I'm assisting women at the gas pump, bro.
What? Oh,
man, put in your card. How much you want to hear, ma'am? Okay, put in your card. You take it back in. I'm gonna tell me when to stop on your tank.
Hello, my name is Willie Wilson, and I'm here with the officers from the 5th District. We are from the 5th, the 4th, and the 3rd District, and we are going to be at every gas station. It's going to be the safest gas stations all over the city. You got to understand that crime, the Safety Act, ever since we didn't have the Safety Act, you got to understand that there's just, that officer, you going to pump the gas? Oh, okay. And we got Hank Voigt from Chicago PD. He said, listen, now I told you, this is gonna be an intelligence case. In fact, fuck intelligence. Let me fix your back porch. Let me fix. This is my city. I want to beautify it. Let me fix your back porch.
Hell no. Hell no.
Oh my God.
Hell no.
I'd be
on God.
I'd be on there. Like,
matter of fact, oh my God, I'm helping kids put crates on light poles so they can still shoot basketball if they ain't got no real hoop.
Yep.
What else we got going on? Oh, dude, man.
We building honorary Mayor Lightfoot stilts. This stilt has been sponsored by.
I'm helping people hang up flags in their front yard.
I don't find that funny, not one bit. But you know what? I think I do. And we gonna pass around COVID-19 mask, and we gonna, with God on our side. Give me a B flat, Officer Johnson.
Johnson gonna be on the Oregon. Oh my God. I can't.
With the spiritual face.
The Chicago Police Missionary Baptist Church Choir.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Dude, what else we got going on? Man, I'm gonna help people water their lawns.
Man,
trimming hedges, bro.
Well, we don't need concealed carry because you literally got an officer in every pocket. So you
like, dude, I'm kicking it. Oh
God.
my god, man. Oh, dude, I'm helping. Hey, I'm gonna bring it back.
Bring it back.
I'm gonna help old ladies cross the street. I'm bringing it back.
I'm going to serve meals at every senior citizen home. And you know I wish you would fuck with Officer Brown. He made that Salisbury steak. This is the 5th time he done did that shit here. And you want me to keep you in office, you better leave him alone. It says the blessings of Abraham availeth much. Now leave him alone. My plan with your ass. I put you in office, I take you out. And here I am in the background, like, Oh my God.
Dude, man. I'm trying to open doors at every Planet Fitness every time someone walks by.
Man, please.
I'm
not. I'm not.
Nope, here we go. Here we go. The stuff that we talked about.
Yep. Law enforcement shall issue a citation in lieu of custodial arrest upon proper identification for those accused of the following: traffic, class B and C criminal misdemeanor offenses, or petty business offenses. So this is what they're talking about when they're talking about the trespassing, right?
Right. Petty business offenses, isn't that like someone walking in and walking out with something too?
Yep.
Yeah, but dude, no one was getting stopped during COVID. You had people walking in the stores with backpacks, throwing everything in their backpack and walking right back out.
Well, you got to understand that when people are in distress, they're gonna resort to doing certain things, and so we should not be worried about those who can afford to rebuild. We should.
Would that include freaking looting?
Who we talking about here?
Is looting a petty business offense?
Is he saying looting or nudity?
Looting, bruh. Looting.
Key, shut up. He said, so he did say looting. Okay, I just had to talk to. Sometime I don't get it. You don't speak my language, do you?
I really don't. I'm sorry.
Shit.
You know they gonna be at my door.
I heard you was talking about me.
I heard you want to get into some thug shit. Is that what's going on, man? You better go, man. You don't understand how we roll.
You better stop playing with me on phone, them. I'm not playing.
Oh God, he did not just say that.
Right, I'm not playing with your ass on phone, them. Don't have me go over to O Block. As much gas as I've given them, I'll have them come fuck you up.
This is Willie Wilson voting for mayor.
Hi, I'm Willie Wilson, and I'm here to let you know.
No, that's not true, JFB. Seriously?
I know. He still preaches at church. We're not making fun of Willie like that. Willie is really a good man.
No. Are you serious? He really does preach at church?
No, yeah, he preaches at church. Yeah, he preaches at several churches. Look, I'm not saying he don't know. He's no day minister. I might talk. You said his congregation will come out there. I'm tired of you fucking with Willie. Now we was good as wish you was planting our stuff. Don't you fuck with our gas? We need that too.
That's right. You want to stay on this police department and keep planting plants? You better shut the fuck up. I didn't know the camera was on. Hey, I'm Willie Wilson. I'm going to be your next mayor of Chicago. And you got to understand.
I know the next thing I'm going to be doing.
What's that?
On Tuesday or on Wednesday mornings, I'm going to be making sure people's their garbage cans are out in front, ready to be picked up.
Facts. I will be with Streets and Sand. Every Streets and Sand garbage can will have a policeman.
Boy. Talk about something. Hey, man, hold on. Let me get that for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right. Y'all have a good one.
Yep. You said, so the business owners, Luke asked a question. So the business owners should just take care of it themselves and then tell the officer, walk away. I got it, since they can't complain against me. Yep. That's about it.
That's about
you know what? You actually have more rights
than a cop
and can take more risk than the police can.
Yep, especially if it's your own property.
Because the only thing you stand to lose, and that's depending upon what you have to lose, is, remember, you get arrested, you get bonded out. Like you out. You don't have no priors, right? And then you win at court, you get expired. You're not going to lose your job because you're not hired by the government.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? Police officer, on the other hand, as soon as he make that arrest, he lose everything, and his job.
Man, and God forbid, boy, if your wife is not built up for that.
But I'm tired of listening to you talk, Mike. I want to hear what they had to say at the hearing.
Y'all want to hear? Type a number 1 in the chat if y'all want me to play the remaining parts of this hearing yesterday, because we already know about the rest of the Safety Act. I told you about the worst parts. Type a number 1 in the chat if y'all want to hear the rest of the Safety Act that they were talking about at this hearing. I'll let it play.
Yeah.
JFB type 1.
And while we're waiting for y'all to type 1, I'm gonna go ahead and sing my song. You don't know what I do for you. Let me stop playing. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, you got a lot of ones coming on, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Willie Wilson, and I'm here to vote for the mayor of Chicago.
She said, no, we want to hear you talk more like that.
Look, don't worry about what your country can do for you. And you don't sit there and tell me, Christy, maybe I'm going to come out there and give you some gas.
We want to pray for you, man.
I bet.
You said it's still posted. I'm going to still post it. But let me go ahead and put this mic back on. I'm going to let you all listen to it. I don't want to put it close to the thing. My nose is kicking my ass right now. What am I doing right now?
You have allergies?
I've always had that shit. In the middle of the show. Ain't that some shit? Oh, it turned off. Hold on. All right, here we go. Let's go on ahead and play it. And then I'm going to walk away, grab some tissue, and come on right back so we can discuss it. I appreciate y'all. You said you would still watch it?
First of all, you don't tell me what to watch. I'm grown as fuck. My name is Willie Wilson. I'm voting for mayor. Running for mayor for the city of Chicago. And you better vote for me. I'll set you free. Give you some gas so you can pee.
All right, here we go.
Hosting us this evening, I can't let a moment go by without giving a big shout out to our moderator, State Senator, Leader Jackie Collins. Please give her a round.
That's kind of loud. Sorry.
This district in our state has certainly been blessed to have Senator Collins, and we appreciate your dedication and commitment to what you've given as a legislator. Make no mistake about it. Right here locally across this country, we are engaged in a mass incarceration crisis.
Can you all hear?
Really, actually, it's destroyed communities of color, in particular the Black community. Individuals, organizations, coalitions here across this country are doing all they can really to benefit from mass incarceration, want to protect the status quo.
That's Representative, I think that's State Senator or either Representative Christian Slaughter.
And will do things to the extent of dangerously misleading the public, misrepresenting the intent and the objectives of reforms, putting mass efforts into politicizing our very, very real issues in underserved communities. One of the biggest challenges that this has brought about is what Senator Collins was talking about. It's not just public safety. It's not just criminal justice reform. Many of these issues, as it pertains to social economics and communities of color, are challenges that warrant a very, very comprehensive, holistic approach to how to address these issues. And so really that's what we wanted to do. Believe it or not, there are 3 other major laws that the Black Caucus has passed: economic development, education, and also public health. But we don't ever want to look at these issues in silos. Even the Safety Act in itself, there's been some confusion on that. The bill passed into the governor in January 2021. Some of the myths and all that have you thinking that this goes into effect this January. It's just the component of cash bail that goes into effect January 1 of this year. And we did a lot of research. A lot of police reform. We looked at core responders, best practice training, police licensing, the issue of qualified immunity. So it's actually not just cash bail that we want to take a look at. The one other thing that I'll say, and I think this will come out obviously as as we've been battling, pushing back on a lot of the myths and misinformation. And I guess it's a chance for Senator Sims and I to apologize if anyone is feeling uncomfortable. But change and transformation is not a comfortable thing. There is a lot that goes into changing a system. And so when you think about systemic racism, when you think about safety and justice, when you think about addressing root causes, these are the efforts that have to go into this. One of the other things I want to pick up on what Senator Sims said, this actually was not just a moment to address a lot of the George Floyd deaths. A lot of what's in the Safety Act were bills, efforts, initiatives that have really can be tracked back decades. When you think about a lot of what the Black Caucus, we talk about leaders like Harold Washington, first Black mayor of Chicago, we talk about leaders like State Senator Barack Obama, the first African American to be the president. We wanted to honor the efforts that many of our forefathers before us have put into this. So a lot of it was taking things that we've discussed before when we talk about this not being discussed and being passed in the middle of the night. Decades of discussions, to be honest with you, have gone into the provisions that are in the Safety Act. With that said, tremendously proud of the efforts of the individuals that tonight on the panel. We will not take a step back. This is about taking a step forward, moving forward with the Pretrial Fairness Act, and truly, honestly, realizing safety and justice of the state.
So next, Sharon Mitchell, the Cook County Public Defender. Who has
That's his name, Sharon Mitchell.
Interaction with many of the individuals that are caught in this maze of unfair pretrial detention. Sharon Mitchell.
Thank y'all so much for having me. I don't know where to begin. I'm from Chicago, from 167th and South Shore Drive. Moved to West Pullman, and I think I always knew growing up that we have a dual crisis in our community. We have a crisis where we are struggling with harm, and that harm can come in different forms. It can come from a gun, it can come from the intentional deprivation of resources. We have a crisis of harm, we have a crisis of justice. And I saw that crisis of justice up close and personal as a Cook County Public Defender. There are a lot of things you have to do. You see when you're in the court system that it's tough. But I don't know if there was anything tougher than having to sit down with a grandmother and have a conversation with a grandmother about whether she should pay her rent and whether she should pay for her loved one's freedom. The process of cash bond is the most deplorable process that we have in the criminal legal system. It's not close. It pulls tens of millions of dollars out of our communities every single year. And it is a tax on mainly Black and brown women. Go to Division 5. Look at that's at 26th California. Look at the lines. Look at the people who are paying those bonds, not people that are accused of any offense. It's people that are holding families together. I was at a rally just a couple weeks ago, and it was a rally about folks getting together to get cash bond, and it was right in front of Division 5. And there was a woman that had kind of wandered into the rally, and she was asking folks questions about what we were doing. People were talking to her, and somebody let her know what the rally was about. She said, "Thank you. I'm glad that you're doing this." After talking to her, and I realized that she was a nurse, she was in healthcare, and she had a son who was going through a mental health crisis and got arrested. She had to go to the jail. She had to bond herself out. And she said she had to pay $1,000. And there are two things that will stick with me about this conversation. I spent a lot of time fighting, negotiating, along with thousands of others who are changing this policy. I've done a lot of thinking about how to best articulate the harm that I saw as a public defender. But two things that she asked, two things stuck with me. The one thing that she said was like the pain in her voice. I didn't have $1,000. I didn't have it. I had to pay it, but I didn't have it. I don't know what I'm going to do. Something in her voice took me back to when I was a public defender, and that same harm. That same harm. We talk a lot about violence in this discussion, public safety. We're pulling the last dime out of somebody's pocket. Violence. She also asked a question that is really difficult for folks like me who dress up in suits and go to work every day and work in the legal system. It's a very hard question for us to ask. If they were going to let them out anyway, why not even pay my last $1,000 to get them out? That's a question I think is very difficult for anybody to answer. There will be lots of back and forth about the Pretrial Fairness Act. I think we're going to get into some of the things about it. We're going to talk about the law that was signed in 2021 is being talked about now. There's so much well-funded disinformation campaign a couple of weeks before an election. I'm sure we'll get into that. But one of the things I just want us to really think about is why does this policy exist? And I suspect this policy exists that is so unfair because the vast majority of people in the system that are harmed by it don't have power. They're poor, and they're black and brown, and because of that, we can do violence onto them. There's no doubt that we have problems in our communities, and there are no doubt that there are better things that we can do on a whole host of things. But I would argue to my dying breath that the policy of cash bond is a broken policy, and I'm very, very glad that we are getting rid of it.
Thank you, Shimon. Now let's hear from some community voices, women that have direct insight into how it impacts within the community, how it falls out within the community. Let's start with Tanya Watkins of Soul.
So I wrote my remarks down because sometimes I say bad words. And we are in the church. So good evening. My name is Tanya Watkins, and I'm the Executive Director of Southsiders Organized for Unity and Liberation, also known as SOUL. SOUL is a Black-led, Black-centered, faith-based organization working at the intersection of racial and economic justice in Chicago South. SOUL is a proud member of the Coalition to End Honey Bond and the Illinois Network for Pretrial Justice. So I first want to thank the community of St. Sabina and Senator Jacqueline Collins for giving their time and their space to this issue. I also want to thank the legislators who have stood up and defended the Safety Act and have fought to preserve this opportunity for fairness in our justice system. I am voting this can't be easy. Black legislators who have had to carry the all too familiar trauma of what our current system has done to our communities. Having to contend with the civil unrest in the wake of the murder of countless Black folks at the hands of the state, fielding the cries for help from their constituents who have been brutalized by racialized criminalization. Living in a world where there is a national outcry for comprehensive criminal justice reform, only to be met with attacks by those who profit off preserving the status quo, after just taking a first step towards equity by attempting to end wealth-based incarceration. It must feel like, how the hell would we ever get there? I come to you today not as an advocate or someone who can claim to act as a voice for those incarcerated. I am neither a politician nor a policy expert. stand before you as merely a survivor of harm and violence, domestic abuse, sexual assault, some incidents where I've had property stolen, and other instances where I had the lives of people that I love stolen. I've lost countless folks to violence in the city, some to gun violence, some at the hands of police. But the one thing that all of these tragedies had in common was that they happened under our current system that fails to keep us safe. A system that appears to be above critique and reform because we allow it to be. But I am tired, I am angry, and that is why I am here with you today. So I don't want to bore you with sad stories because I'm sure a majority of you came to get some facts. In February 2021, Illinois adopted the Safety Act, the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus's landmark criminal justice, police accountability, and violence reduction omnibus bill. It was a response to the murder of George Floyd and too many others, which highlighted for the country our history of pervasive systemic racism, mass incarceration, and institutional violence, and the overwhelming need for policy change.
What
This
institutional
large bill contains a key provision called the Pretrial Fairness Act, which will.
What you say?
What the hell is institutional violence? Violence in jail? That's the only time I ever heard about institutional violence.
When I say they slung the big words, the words that incense people, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, because you see my face when I heard it.
In the widespread use of wealth-based pretrial incarceration that disproportionately impacts Black, brown, and low-income people in the state. Those nationwide protests occurred even in small towns across Illinois and emphasize that the state is ready for a new vision of public safety that includes a commitment to racial and economic justice. The Pretrial Fairness Act reflects this shift. It is the result of years of work by community members, advocates, legislators, national experts, and institutional stakeholders, developed through hours of public hearings, testimony, extensive negotiations, even with law enforcement, and community building. Illinois stands to be the first state in the country to prioritize public safety over wealth by ensuring that being poor is not the sole factor in whether someone is jailed.
What?
On the way to trial. Nonetheless, from the moment the bill passed in January 2021, conservatives and law enforcement began spreading misinformation to undermine this historic policy change. This tactic is part of a national trend in which opponents of criminal legal system reforms leverage.
Did I just hear Illinois is putting public safety first?
That's what she said.
She said that out loud.
She did.
In a sentence.
Yeah.
And she meant it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Safety Act in some way, shape, or form is putting public safety first.
That's what she said.
Okay, were they releasing weed or gummies into the crowd as we were having this conversation?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
I would have been high.
I'm sorry. I digress. I just, okay.
I would have been high.
Media to amplify misinformation to scare and confuse the public about reforms that correct harms experienced by people of color and marginalized communities. I personally find it ironic that this targeted misinformation campaign, fueled by more than $14 million in conservative money, magically hits the doorstep of Black communities just in time for campaign season. Yes, I said it. Much of this information has been debunked in news outlets across the country, from USA Today to Block Chicago, from NBC News to the Associated Press. In fact, Illinois was actually featured in a Snopes article, which I personally find absolutely embarrassing. This targeted misinformation campaign, which only seeks to cause chaos in our communities, restricts us from having the conversations about what our communities need to actually achieve public safety. So before I yield the floor, I want to clear up some of the basic questions that I've gotten over the past few weeks. People held pre-trial have not been convicted of a crime. There are thousands of people in Cook County Jail right now who have been accused of something. And we all know how accusations, particularly for people who have not been provided due process, can absolutely ruin a person's life. These individuals, despite what they were accused of, get a jail sentence before their day in court. There are also folks who spend years in jail pre-trial, only to have their cases thrown out once they get to court, but not before they have been robbed of huge chunks of their life. And then there are others who, although they proclaim their innocence, take plea deals, confessing to infractions they didn't commit, just because the promise of getting back to their lives and family quicker is something they are unwilling to pass on. Now
that's the part I did say I did agree with her saying that, you know, that there are people who do take plea deals because they don't want to stay in county, not that they really believe that they did it or they did it, but oftentimes being in county is worse than trying to fight the case. That's the part I do agree with. So
yeah, I agree with that, and also agree with certain aspects where, like, for example, a person who shoplifts diapers for their kids because they don't have the money shouldn't be seeing 6 to 8 months in jail and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, like I said, minor offenses I'm with, but again, I'm stuck on some of the stuff, and that's, I think, is kind of the problem. You got 10 minutes to talk to me. The first thing that's bullshit out your mouth, if it's not within the last 3 minutes of that conversation, you just blew out. You really just killed that first 7 minutes of us talking. So I'm like, nah, wait a minute. Now I'm kind of lost in the sauce, and I can't even deal with you.
True.
It's almost like talking to someone and you find out they got halitosis because they got close to the whisper in your ear.
Oh, I used to know a girl who had halitosis, and she was beautiful, but her breath
had the dragon on full blast.
I could not. Oh, it was always a distance conversation.
What was it? The Listerine commercial back in the day when someone started talking, they'd be like,
yeah. Oh, horrible. All right, here we go.
This is happening. There are people who have money that get to walk out of jail the next day because they can afford it. I would never forget how I felt watching the man that murdered Laquan McDonald walking out of Cook County Jail after being there for less than a week.
So that's the one that pissed you off? The man who killed Laquan McDonald, not the people who walk out all the time from shooting, killing, and shoot. That's the one that pissed you off. The Laquan McDonald, not the everyday crime we have in Chicago.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking. I'm just going to listen, okay? I'm going to try this as hard as I can. I'm going to mute myself just so I don't say anything so you can keep playing it.
You silly. All right. We only got a few. Oh, shit. I got to go back to the doggone spot.
How the hell would we ever get there? I come to you today not as an advocate or someone who can claim and whether someone is jailed while awaiting trial. Nonetheless, from the moment the bill passed in January 2021, conservatives and law enforcement began spreading misinformation to undermine this historic policy change. This tactic is part of a national trend in which opponents of criminal legal system reforms leverage the media to amplify misinformation to scare and confuse the public. about reforms that correct harms experienced by people of color and marginalized communities. I personally find it ironic that this targeted misinformation campaign, fueled by more than $14 million in conservative money, magically hits the doorstep of Black communities just in time for campaign season. Yes, I said it. Much of this information has been debunked in news outlets across the country, from USA Today to Blockball Chicago, from NBC News to...
So here's what I think I'm going to do, because the audience is going down. I think I'm just going to post it. I'm going to record it. I'm going to post it. And then people can feel free to watch it on their own. Yeah. But we went through the crux of what the main issue is going to be. And people are going to have to start protecting themselves. So, yeah, any final thoughts, sir?
Bruh. You know what? Guys, go read. That's what I'm going to tell you. Go read and stop trying to figure out who has the best master on the plantation and get your ass off the plantation. Yeah. I don't give a damn what your skin tone is. If you still voting for the best master who's going to do good by you because they gave you something shiny at that one moment, like gas, I don't know, someone releasing gas reserves without filling up the old ones. Anyway, let's just make sure you understand that you vote for what you're going through. And that's what I'm going to tell you. You are literally voting for what you're going through. If you're going through rough times right now, I want you to look at who did you put in office. I'm telling you right now, literally, that's the correlation. You are still voting for your domestic violent relationship that you're in right now. Because guess what? Just because they're not hitting on you don't mean it's not domestic violence. I digress.
That's true. All right, y'all. We out. I don't have no words.
Yeah,
I already said
not after that. Dude,
Yeah, I already said enough. But I appreciate you watching. Dale, thank you for your $10 donation. I appreciate that. Please support the channel. The cash apps and stuff like that are on here. I appreciate it. And until next time, we are out of here.
What's going on there? This is Chicago Resistance Service Survival. Don't you do it. Friends here. Y'all,
because you have to understand that self-defense is serious business. We do military forces, defense forces. Make a difference.
one of the tactics that would increase or decrease
in the two-way community.
All right, y'all introduce yourself.
Let's just kick. Give him 100.
Johnny
You already know what it is.
I saw that, and I've done my share. I'm about to put yours up here too. Wow, look at this. My comment is, I want. Can you be back?